welcome to our studio. My name is Nikki Gonnissen.
And I'm Thomas Widdershoven.
Well, we met in 1992 in the Vondelpark in Amsterdam.
On a sunny October day.
Yeah, exactly. The 1st of October, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And how did we start work together? Well, we met, and then there was some time in between. He was doing his final exams at the Rietveld, and I was doing my finals in Utrecht. But of course, we didn't knew from each other that we were both doing graphic design. And then he started to seduce me with a story that he was making a film about real love. And I was like, what is this? Not convinced. And then maybe you can add on it.
Well, somehow we discovered that we were both graphic designers.
Yeah.
And then, that's how we met.
Well, it's great actually. Yeah, it's not 24/7, by the way.
Well,
it is, but it's also not, because we share a lot and we do a lot of projects together. But we have, of course, a studio with 15 people, a great team, and we have many projects we do by our own, and we collaborate with many people in and outside the studio.
I think collaboration is very key to what we do. And we like multiple perspectives on projects, and that's what we try to achieve. So when it already starts with 2 perspectives at home, then it's already one step, and then we sort of grow. The circle grows, and we involve more people. Well, first of all, we don't consider ourselves a big agency. We're a small team. I think, but the projects that we do feel that they have an impact. So for instance, if we work for the city of Amsterdam, we don't see that as an identity project, but we see it as a democracy project. How to get a visible government in the city, and how to get the city to represent us as a people. And that's, I think, where design helps by getting a logo in that everybody understands to be Amsterdam. So be a bit humble as a designer in that way, that we did not create a new image, but we found an image that everybody can understand, and that really helps democracy one step further, I think. So I do think.
Well, and that refers to the one design at a time. So it's that we are really designers. It's not that we change huge
we don't change
problems.
The world,
we cannot. Of course, we address things in the world, and we want to contribute to it. But it's,
and we're
one step at a time.
Yeah, we're also working a lot with startups, and they challenge existing powers. And in that sense, we also help them, we empower them with a design that helps bring their message across and find an audience.
No.
Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. There are many stories. So one of the idea behind the 3 crosses is that that it's actually empty, that it's still to be decided what will be there. Once it was from the medieval times, and they were very into symbolism in their weaponry. The other one is 3 bridges over the Amstel River. It's also seen as one of the possible meanings of it. And of course there are links to family weapons. So that if an important family that sort of was at the part of it, at the base of it. So it's open. It's open what it means, but everybody recognizes it, and it's a lot of people have it as a tattoo. You see it everywhere, and the city government was reluctant to use it because they felt that they were not Amsterdam, that this was the sign of Amsterdam, and they were sort of just one of the institutions in Amsterdam. And we said, no, you're the central institution of Amsterdam. That's the whole idea of government. And so that was the discussion we had. So designing it was I guess one Friday afternoon, getting it in a body of 20,000 civil servants that have a 6 billion revenue every year. That they, it took us we talked to 500 civil servants in groups of 1 to 10 before it was agreed on. Last year we made
a new typeface together with Bold Monday.
Yeah, we made a bespoke typeface for the whole city government, because actually it was cheaper because of the web and what they had to pay for the adhere. So it was cheaper to have a bespoke typeface, and that was interesting because we could work digital first. So now we have a typeface that's really worked on special screens, and adhere that was of course not. So in that sense we also moved ahead in readability and recognizability.
Not really. Not for cities or...
No, we didn't feel that cities was our thing, but Amsterdam was our thing.
Yeah, so and that's what you meant with, as citizens we wanted to have a sort of understanding of Amsterdam better, because they had 50 logos and for all the boroughs and services, and it was a mess, we could not find our way. So as citizens we were hoping to clarify and to find something that connects people symbolically. Yeah. Well, no, it gives so many chances, and it's also a threat. That's why you say the beast. Yeah, it's we have to live with it, huh? Well, it's great that now we not only control the message, but we also control the media to a certain extent. So it's quite easy to get something on the internet and to get it out there. It's more difficult to really connect to an audience, and often it involves quite a bit of money anyway, like in the old days. But still, it's great. It's great to have such a medium. And basically, we changed from print first to digital first. That's the first thing that we did. So in 30 years, we have a totally different output. And every once in a while, we make a business card or a letterhead, but it's rare. And in the meantime, we make lots of moving graphics, lots of campaigns. Those are the fun campaigns. Parts. Yes, of course. And let's talk about the fun parts. Yeah. And and also what has changed a lot is the whole perception of what we see. So we are now so screen based in what we see that actually the whole color issue has changed completely. So working from RGB towards every once in a while full color or Pantone colors. Is a whole new expertise that we have in the studio. So we use print for special occasions, and then we have to translate all these these colors that we have on screen and the way they work, because they shine towards you and they don't reflect like print does. So we have to really change. Well, our whole perception of color has changed, and also our expertise to go cross media and translate all these colors has changed completely, and it's really interesting. It's from print, like you said, from print to digital. That's a completely new world. Yeah. For us personally, we are not able to use all those programs any longer, but we have. No, but that's more the tools. That's the tools. The role of the designer in the process is sometimes more limited. I think sometimes we're just seen as typographers who do this really small part that nobody understands about. But on the other hand, we're also seen as strategists, and we take a much huger role than we ever did. And we really overlook the whole project and involve all kinds of smaller groups or different expertises into the whole process. But it can be either this or that. It's not so clear when you move from a very important central position to a very small, crafty, smaller area. And it can move up and front, to and fro in one project. So in that sense, yeah. No, but as a designer, you can be a critical designer and engage yourself with the projects you really want to engage with.
Yeah, that's very important for us.
For us, that's what we do. So I do think we engage with many cultural projects. That's the basic of our studio, and then of course with a lot of startups, because we think that change is happening in those younger generations, and they really look for change. They experiment with the reuse of materials. They address other topics, financial topics. We work with Dime, for instance, which is a startup who was trying to
financial startup.
Financially. They try to break with the big players in that sense, the big banks.
But also critical media. So, for instance, the VPRO on television,
Yeah.
or KRO NCRV, it's another broadcaster.
Yeah.
They have a critical view on where we're going.
Yeah, and they say that
and we really help them to get that message across and to air their ideas. So in that sense, also I think we're part of
really
a
make
change
a choice.
movement.
Yeah, we really make a choice in who we work with, what projects we want to do.
But the one that we really liked was Yoni. We have been working for them already. It's a bit beyond a startup now, but
a tampon brand.
It's a tampon brand that is totally clear and transparent about what's in the tampons, because the normal companies are not. And since if you put this in your body, it's you whatever is in there will be in your body. So it's there should be a normal list of ingredients on a tampon, but it's not. And so they made a new tampon to do that, and we helped them with the name Yoni, which is Sanskrit for vagina, because part of it is not only the tampon, but it's also getting the taboo out of menstruation, or out of
breaking taboos with that women can freely speak about their circle.
So if you Google Yoni, you get quite explicit images of the female sex, but it's also a nice name that is easy to remember and friendly, and it sells good. So on that level it works too, but it also works to break the taboos.
And then we have Cuckoo, for instance. And
we're now working on Cuckoo Cooking. That's a really nice project. It's also a name that we made up, and I don't know. It's a name that gives you a smile, I would say. So they will come up with menus that on a daily basis will help you be aware of your CO2 emission, and will keep you in balance with the earth. So if you cook their menu, then you're totally in balance. Even if we are 8 billion people, if we would all cook that way, it would be okay. Meat once a week, if you want. You can of course also be vegetarian or vegan within the menu, but a maximum of once a week, because you wanna. Otherwise, it's not possible to get to the level of balance.
No, but also avocados, they cost a lot of water, for instance, and so they all think about the ingredients and what they do with our planet.
Yeah, and then it's good cooking anyway. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But it's also much more. In that way, it's content based more than design based. But we are also quite design based, of course. But we also help thinking about what's really the content, and where are we going, and what do we want to support with our ideas.
Because we leave for Hong Kong next week for the first time in 3 years, and so M+ is a big museum. It was opened in 2021.
Yeah, 1 year ago.
One year ago. It was built by Herzog and de Meuron, and it's about visual culture, global visual culture. It's a fantastic project. We worked on it for a couple of years, and
Well, we really believe that culture can bridge worlds, and the world is getting more divided, we feel. So I think the impact of culture is important in that sense. But also the M+ is interesting because of the color thing, because we knew that it's a big institution. They have a big shop, so we needed a color system that would work in materials and in print and on all levels.
And digital, because they have a huge screen on the facade. It's huge.
Yeah, half of the museum is a screen facing
the harbor.
Facing the harbor. Mm-hmm. So you can see it from Hong Kong Center. You can see our images. So you start with a screen, but you have to have a good translation. And we found a sort of crazy concept where we say, okay, we take all colors in the world, but if you take a photo of these colors, it's 50% gray. So it's only mid-tones colors. So you can use gray, but you can also use orange as a very strong color. And you can also use cyan blue, which is also a mid-tone. But you can never use red, because if you took a photo of black and white photo of red, you would get 70% gray. You can never use yellow, so you have to make it mustard, because yellow would be too light. So you get a really strange family of colors, and there you can have a huge color contrast for the opening campaign, but you can also have really nice colors for the shop, and really blend in the colors in the gray tones if you want to be chic and corporate. So, but together they form a family and a strong identity. And a nice thing is that you can read black and white in all these colors because they're mid-tone. So they're also practical, and it's a sort of crazy concepts that works very well for them. And if you look at Hong Kong, it's all gray, all these buildings, but down there you have a lot of commercial advertising, and in neons. So it's always this mix of gray with a lot of colors, and actually that's also what we achieve with this identity.
Yeah, and we have this wonderful project in Shenzhen, which is a new school on design, International School of Design, but it's a collaboration with Europe. So it's Catalonia, Zurich, and Hamburg, who have both their programs are Stuttgart.
German.
So both their programs are sort of mixed. So it's European and Asian based, which is, I think, very exciting, especially in these times. Now everybody's looking at China and the way around, so things get more divided, and they really want to collaborate and say, okay, let's mix our curriculums together and exchange our students.
So it's a bridge thing, but also,
then that's what we really want to do in our studio. And I also think that the designer can take that role, bridging, cultures, and people who are getting divided, because we are sort of always thinking in possibilities and in change, and we want to collaborate with people. Young people, they don't want to. They really want to make a difference in that sense.
Yeah, and also, that's also why we connect to education.
Yeah, because in education, it's not longer the older generation who passes the knowledge to the younger. No, we work together, and they have their sort of input, and they're so open to the digital and easy working with all the changes and the tools, but also their mentality is so different than it was the mentality when we started 30 years ago.
Yeah, we still had a so now we work together with generations, and also in education it's the same way, because the younger generation are digital natives, and the digital, as you said, is the new monster, you called it. Well, anyway, I would say it's the new reality.
Yeah, it's the new reality.
And
they know how to work with it.
So there's a totally new balance between generations. So also in our studio we work intergenerational, but also as we work a lot for education and in education, that's also where I think there's a totally new approach of working together.
So creativity and collaboration, that's sort of like the future in that sense, to maybe a better world. I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
Or even try to get a more decent world somehow.